All right, what is going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to a special, unique episode of Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo Sports Talk and more. My name is Patrick Moran. Thank you to everyone out there, as always, for listening, for watching, however you consume Talking Buffalo. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I mentioned that this is a unique episode. I do this once per year, and it is quite honestly one of maybe my favorite episodes of the entire year. And we are not talking Buffalo Bills. We're not talking Buffalo Sabres, which is always a good thing the way this team's been recently. But this is all about wings. This is our 2025 Buffalo Chicken Wing Rankings in Tiers episode. 97 spots I got, and I put them into 7 different tiers. Last year, if you remember, I did this show actually live from Sunny Reds, and I had the help of a couple guys from the Buffalo Wing Coalition. We're doing that again this year, at least one of them anyway, with me here actually in my studio for this momentous occasion. My buddy from the Buffalo Wing Coalition, Tommy Seifert. What's going on, buddy? How you doing, man?
Great. Here to talk about one of the elite things in life, chicken wings. Maybe top 3 in my life, I would say.
Top 3 in your life?
Yeah, I'm not going to rank them in order because I'll probably get in trouble.
What would
for
be
that.
the other 2? Family?
Family and football.
Yeah, then you know what? I'm going to give you some credit right away. I ain't hating on God, but family and football and wings, I'm not really going to argue with that, man. I am completely really good with that. If you don't know Tommy, and especially if you don't know the Buffalo Wing Coalition, before we get into what my wing tier and my power rankings are, which Tommy is going to you're going to play a little bit of TV analyst here. You can tell me what you like about some of these choices, where they are. Maybe you have a couple anecdotes about some of the places that we're going to discuss today. But before we get into that, I can't advise you guys enough. If you haven't done so already, if you have not heard by some chance of Buffalo Wing Coalition, go change that. Go to Buffalo Wing Coalition. You guys have been, and it's a team, right?
There's about 5 of us.
5 of you now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Collectively, you guys do an incredible job of reviews, which I find incredibly informative. I mean, you even rank bar stools.
Yes.
Not the sports outlet, but like actual bar stools. You have a score for those now.
A lot of people love that.
Who came up with that idea?
I think that was Luke. He started taking pictures and putting them up, and then people started responding about his rankings, if they agreed or disagreed.
I love it.
It took off.
It's unique. It's very unique, man. I love that. Anyway, bar stool rankings. That's just a little bonus feature. But anyway, really comprehensive, detail-oriented wing reviews, far more than most that I've seen. In fact, all that I've seen. Pretty much every place you go, you have a recommendation to what people should try when they go there. You guys do a great job of talking about the place itself, the wings. So you got that. And then you also have a pyramid, which is essentially kind of what I'm going to be doing today. Like I call them tiers, and I have them in the different tiers as opposed to, say, 1 through 97. You guys have a series of levels as well with your pyramid rankings. And then the other thing, which actually has become one of my favorite things, we talked about this a little bit before we started rolling the tape here. You guys provide every wing special in town.
We try to.
I'll try to all week long. Well, it keeps growing. Put it that way. Every time I go on the website, there's new additions that weren't there a couple weeks ago.
Ever changing, and people reach out to us all the time to change the price, what day it is.
Yeah.
And they're all testing the waters too, right? So, yeah, buffalowingguide.com. You can find that on there.
I'll tell you this, man. In an economy where it's getting harder to afford food, period, let alone wings right now, man. Dude, it wasn't that long ago where we were going out, you could get double order wings for $12, $13. Those days, for the most part, are gone. However, there are specials, so they become more important now than ever. And if you go to their guide, they will tell you night by night, and it's got like columns too. Like you could put in the day, and everything will pull up. It will populate what's up there. So by day of the week, by name of the place, the location, and what the price is too, which is important as well.
That's correct.
So, I mean, that's some really, really good shit over there at BWC. Before we get into this countdown, I don't want to waste too much time before we jump into things here. I do want to preface this, and I know you and I have talked about this, and you feel the same way. These wings that we're going to be talking about today, in the order in which they come down the chute here, is one, in this case, my opinion. You might agree with some, Tommy might agree, he may disagree at other portions, but these are just purely one person's opinion. And I can't state that enough, dude, because so many people, you know, there's no science to it. It's just one person's opinion. Food is like the most subjective thing in the world, man. You know, one person's trash is another person's treasure. That's the way it goes.
And a lot of people get very mad about it.
They do.
Correct. So
they absolutely do.
Your opinion only.
Have you guys had an experience yet? And look, you guys are, you do a really good job of being detailed. And even if there's, you know, again, if you don't love the wings, you find other things. But have you had experiences maybe earlier on too, where you didn't give the best review and then a place, you don't have to name the place specifically, but a place would take exception with it, like whether it was the manager, the owner, somebody reached out to you guys and expressed their, you know, their unhappiness with what you have written or said?
I think that us having a group, and usually put a rough draft in like the chat, right? And I think we were our own critic on that, and we never put out a really bad one to really ruin a place, because this really took off during like COVID, where we started blowing up. So it was hard enough for these people as it is. So we never had one go out that we regretted, because we argue with each other about it all the time.
Sure. Now, for people who might not know, let's refresh for people who do. How did this start? Like, how did this come about, you know, deciding to go out and review rings and make it into a site and make it into a big thing? Because, I mean, let's be honest, you guys aren't the first to ever do it. There's been others out there I've seen, which is funny because I didn't know you guys at first. And I see plenty of Facebook groups with wing, whatever it may be, wing trails, wing this, wing that. But you guys really caught my attention with the way you were covering it. But how was the concept of creating something that's solely dedicated to covering wings? Like, what was the precipice of that? How did that come about?
I think I was adopted into this, right? So the two co-founders, Luke and Nick, they would be mad at me if I didn't tell them that they're in charge of this. So I've been adopted by them, but I feel like I've had more wings than probably 99% of the public. So my opinion also matters, right? But they grew up in East Aurora, and they always went to barbell, and it was always about barbell, right? So they decided, okay, we need to start going other places. Then when we were looking for places to go, what happened? So you're gonna have to cut this, but
no, we're rolling, baby.
Yeah. So so when they were looking for other places to go, they really never had a list of what's gonna happen. So we started going places, reviewing, getting all our friends together, groups together, and started making a list. And then the pyramid came into effect because we started doing number lists, and that doesn't really work, right? So
how long did it take before you really started to notice the attention starting to get paid to what you were doing? There's a difference. Look, when you go on Facebook, I've been doing it for years, man. I'll go on Facebook and be like, review of these wings or pizza, whatever. This place is great. This place sucks. That's limited to a handful of friends that are seeing my shit.
Yeah.
But then you get to a point and you notice that people are starting to, whether they love what you're saying, whether they hate what you're saying, but they're starting to pay a lot more attention. Like, how long did it take before you really started to notice that people were paying attention to what your thoughts and your takes and your opinions were?
It probably took about 6 to 7 years of doing it consistently. And then the haters started coming. That's when you really know when you made it, when people start hating on you and you get the trolls. And we love that too, because it also helps with the content. So probably 6, 7 years of grinding. And then obviously the last 3 to 4 years, we've blown up even more doing our tournaments and our pyramid and now the website. So
yeah, listen, I couldn't agree with you more. And in terms of the haters comment, absolutely, man. It wasn't until I started regularly getting tweets or especially comments on the YouTube side on videos that I don't know shit, turn this off, unsubscribe, this and that. Yeah. That's when you know you're you're starting to arrive a little bit when people care enough to have an opinion and let you know, even if it's an opinion that you suck. But anyway, I feel like your organization and me talking Buffalo here with Wings, we kind of have the same model, the same mindset, same attitude. You want to find something positive about a place. The last thing that you want to do, that I want to do, any of us want to do, is bury a place and potentially take food off their table. You know what I mean? Like you tell people, don't go to this place.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the last thing that, you want to do. You don't want to hurt somebody's business. You can find other nice things maybe. So, and listen too, I will say this. Some of the wing spots, especially the ones that are ranked lower on my list, and I'm sure probably on yours too, they serve wings. They don't necessarily tout their wings. They're not out there saying, hey, come to Billy Joel's. We got the best wings in town. You put yourself out there like that, you're holding yourself to a standard that opens you up for more criticism. Right, Tom? But it's like,
that's correct.
Yeah, it's like some of these places aren't necessarily touting that their wings anyway are great. They're good with other things. So anyway, my point is that I just want to make that clear. It's the opinion of me, myself. That's it. You may agree, you may disagree. These are just my thoughts, my takes. I try to be very positive like we talked about. That said, last point, and then we're going to dive into this. I feel, and I'm sure you do as well, at this point when enough people are listening to what you say and they're reading what you write or they're watching what you put out there, you do have a responsibility or duty, whatever you want to call it, I think, to be honest with people. Like, you don't want to pull their leg, because at the end of the day, Tommy, it's your name, it's your reputation at stake. If you're telling people to go to a spot and, man, these wings are so good and they suck, they're going to go there and these wings are going to suck, and they're going to let you know about it, and you're going to lose credibility over time. So it's like you're balancing a line between being respectful towards a business and being complimentary and being a good person, versus you also got to be honest, because you kind of have a duty. People are watching this show or listening to this show, even if they're hate watching, they're watching it because they're interested in what you think about something or what I think about something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we're never going to bash somebody openly like we talked about earlier, but we will throw them at the bottom tier, right? So, hey, we went and got wings. Maybe something else in the menu is better, but they're going to be on the bottom tier. Right?
Yeah, and look, in fairness too, the one thing we'll put bashing on the table, and we talked about this before too, is I think if the customer service somewhere is awful, like if they look miserable, like they don't want to be there, and that you're being, you're inconveniencing them by going to their business and getting wings or whatever, then all bets are off. Then I will come at you. But that, again, that's barely ever happens. So for the most part, we kind of keep things, like I said, respectful and light here. All right, so let's just get this going. I got 7 tiers, and I want to run through these for everybody, going from worst to first. In the 7th tier, which we'll start off with in a second here, is my waiver wires. That's 84 through 97. Tier 6 is the roster bubble wings. Those are 64 through 83. Tier 5 are my depth chart wings, which are 46 through 63. And by the way, if you're watching this on the video side, I'll have a graphic up once we get cooking here in a second. Tier 4, my solid starters, 26 through 45. Tier 3, I got an all-pro section, which is 11 through 25. Tier 2 is the elite, which is 5 through 10. Spoiler alert, I have a very big problem not having one of these here on the Mount Rushmore. We'll get to that shortly. And then, of course, Tier 1 is my Mount Rushmore. A Mount Rushmore is limited to 4. You can't cheat. It's got to be 4. It can't be a Mount Rushmore with 5.
Or you could change the name, but yes.
Yeah, but, well, I could, I suppose. I mean, it is my list. I could do whatever I want.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? It's too late now. The damage has been done. So let me pull this up here, and we're going to start with the waiver wire wings, okay? When I say waiver wire wings, this to me means I ain't getting wings here. It's just straight up. I'm not getting wings here. That doesn't mean I don't like the places. There's some of these, at least, there's things I do like about some of these spots. I just don't specifically like the wings. And by the way, there might be 1 or 2 spots here, Tommy, that might not be open anymore. Yeah. I did kind of go through the list, and I removed some because it's at 97. And I know there still might be a couple places that are still out there too. And by the way, before we run these down, I do want to say with the tiers, this is another thing that you and I talked about. I used to do rankings like 1 through 97 for an example. And, like say I got 20 of them in tier 4 for an example. To me, those are all pretty much, I enjoy them equally. And if you put them all by number though, if you got 20 spots you enjoy equally, one of them's 21 and another one at the bottom is 39, doesn't it sound to you like there's a big, big difference between 21 and 39?
Those numbers are way different to me. So,
they are, but but at the end of the day, they're the same to me and they're in the same tier. Anyway, let me go through the tier 7 here, the waiver wires. Again, this is 84 through 97. This is goat hair for something else besides wings. And these aren't necessarily in specific order either. Again, these are tiered at this point. Pasquale's, Empty Pockets, Buffalo Tap House, Nino's Pizza, Kodiak Jack's, Blaisdell Pizza, Santora's, and I need to be specific, it's the Transit in West Seneca near Clinton location. There's another location I actually went to 2 weeks ago that's completely different. Didn't have the wings there. But anyway, this is the West Seneca location. Connor's Restaurant, Poorhouse in Hamburg. Is that still even open? I think it is. I went there, it was a while ago. White Checks, which we're going to talk about here. I know I just got an eye roll from you. White Checks, because I know your list is different.
Yes.
White Checks is on there. SC Lounge, Essex Street Pub, Danny South, Glen Park Tavern. All right, so that is my waiver wire tier 7 list. Let's start here. What stands out to you there, whether it's something you completely agree with or whether it's something that you absolutely might disagree with?
Probably White Checks, however you pronounce that. But I've had some great wings there, right? So obviously you had a bad experience there, which, like
it happens.
Said, personal opinion. And but I've had 2 great experiences there. Maybe they brought, because they knew we were coming, so that changes things. They have the best person there cooking the wings, right? So things like that change things.
I'm glad you brought that up. And this is not about them specifically. This is about wings, period. When you get to the stature that, say, the Buffalo Wing Coalition is at now, and they know that you're coming, they're going to give you your best, their best shot to you.
Yes.
That was pointed out to me, dude, years ago, because I was really into this at one time. And a good friend of mine told me, don't tell them you're coming because they're going to give you the best. And that's not always necessarily what you're going to get. And I'm not talking about them specifically. I'm just saying that does happen. It's happened to me many times over. Yes. Where you go, they know you're coming. Oh my God, these wings are so good. Then I go back and I'm like, these don't really taste much the same. Here's what I would say about White Checks. And you're right. I've actually had them twice. I did not enjoy them. But I will say this, and I'm glad we're talking about them specifically. I don't know that there's a better fish fry in Western New York than White Checks. And there's maybe a handful of beef on wax that are better than White Checks. That is a great bar. Now, Kaisertown, love the bar. Yeah. Love the food there. For me personally, I don't like the wings. And ditto with Glen Park Tavern. And I got to be honest, though. I got to get back there because it's been a while since I've been there.
Get back there.
I should get back there.
Yes.
All right. Well, when I went there last to have wings, you get 8, and they were post-COVID prices before COVID happened. They were rubber, and they were bland, and they were terrible. I've had a beef on wet there, and I've also had a mac and cheese there. I've been there multiple times. Again, they got great food, man.
You always got to give somewhere a second try if you get the undercooked wings. Then the second time they do it again, then they're banned.
I agree with you there. The problem is, though, dude, is you know this, man. It's really hard sometimes when you're as many. You guys got a team, so to speak, a smaller team, but you still got a team. But even besides that, even with the team, it's hard to keep getting back to places because you are constantly learning about new places. New places are opening up. Yeah. Places want you to come try their shit. You know what I mean? So it's really hard. There's a lot of places on that list that I'd love to go back and give, especially the ones on the lower end, because it's like maybe they got a little bit of an unfair shake. Connor's Restaurant, another one. That's 5 minutes from my house right here in West Seneca. It's a great restaurant, man. Really good fish fry. I've been there many times for fish fries on Fridays. I just don't love their wings. And what I was talking to you about earlier, it's like they're not one of those people who say, yo, our wings are the bomb.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and then what was there? A couple pizza. There's actually a handful of pizza spots on here. Pasquale's. I love their Italian dinners, but their pizza's okay. I don't like their wings. Nino's Pizza right here in West Seneca. I hate to throw shit at them.
Pizzeria wings. That's what I call really
you and I are
wings.
50-50 on pizzeria wings.
Mm-hmm.
Most of you guys think most pizzeria wings are mid.
Yes.
I kind of have a higher opinion, at least on some of them anyway. But yeah, Blaisdell Pizza, Santora's, like I said, these are places where you're probably going for pizza or something else before you're going there to get wings. In fairness to them, I can't think of one name on this list that touts itself as a wing spot. You know, S.E. Lounge is a great bar to go drink at, man. I've had a lot of fun at S.E. Lounge. Some crazy-ass people there. In a good way, I mean that. But, yeah, dude, wings aren't doing it for me. All right, so that's my wing tiers for the waiver wire, tier 7, 84 through 97. Let's get to number 6 here, which is roster bubble wings. All right, now these are wings that, again, I'm not going there to get wings. I might end up there. I might eat some wings. They're better than waiver wire wings. I don't hate any of these wings, but again, and this is a long list, and this is what I was talking about. Dude, there's 64 through 83. To me, these are all the same tier. But Tommy, if you did these purely numerically, 64 to 83 just sounds like they're worlds apart, but
absolutely.
they're really not to me. Anyway, the Banshee, Padrino's Pizza, Dwyer's Irish Pub, they do tout themselves as a big wing spot. I gotta be honest with you, I thought those were pretty damn overrated. The Yelling Goat, Gecko's, Steel City Pub, Mandy's Cafe, awesome spot to drink at though. Brick Oven Bar and Bistro, again, amazing Italian food, dude. The wings just don't really hit that spot for me. Guzzo's Hot Spot, Hattrick's Bar and Grill, I got to get back there because I think they moved to another location. And
Camp Road, yes.
Yeah, it's time to give them another crack. Johnson's Landing, Mister's, 240 South, Leo's Pizzeria and Bar, Bocce Club Pizza, Grill at the Dome, Pat's Pizzeria. Some of the best steak subs I've ever had there, though. Mineo South, ditto. Lovejoy Pizza and Delaware Pub and Grill. I don't know. What do you think about this list here?
There's nothing that stands out to me that I would be like, okay, that's got to change, honestly. So
it's like if you go by the title, roster bubble, like these are guys that are trying to make the team, man. These are guys that are waiting around to see if coach comes calling for them on cutdown day. You know what I mean? They might make the roster. They may not. They're literally just sitting there on the bubble. As I go through these, I'm just trying to think if anything kind of stands out because I feel like a couple might need explanations. I just actually had the Banshee wings for the first time like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I'll tell you what, that is a fun spot. If you're a soccer fan, they pack that place for soccer every Sunday morning. And I got to say it again. They don't sit there and talk about their wings, man.
Yeah,
you don't go to Banshee to go get chicken wings. You know what I mean? What are you doing if that's why you're going there? Mister's is a great spot, a fun spot, but not really a chicken wing spot. Johnson's Landing, one of the few spots now, and it's in Hamburg, and it's new. You go there in the summer, and you hang out on the rooftop bar. That's just, the cool shit.
Yep.
Not necessarily, banging out wings. So anyway, like I said, and when I look at this list, Hattrick's is definitely a place I haven't been to in a while. New location, new spot.
Actually.
And
they were pretty good.
Yeah, were they?
I think you would move them off of 6 if you tried. Their Cajun Hot was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And Brick Oven Bar and Bistro. Again, maybe I need to give those wings another chance. I think I only had them once, and I really enjoy hanging out there, and I've enjoyed their other food. One more, and then we'll get to a quick break here. We're going to get to Tier 5. And at Tier 5 at this point, these are the depth chart wings. These are wings that are making the roster. They're not going to get cut on cut down day, but they're not starters. They're special teams guys. They're backup guys. They're going to play, but they're not going to start. I think there's going to be a couple of these that some people are going to find controversial. And again, this is Tier 5 depth chart. These are 46 through 63. I'll run through them, and then we'll go back here. I'll put the graphic up on the screen. Doc Sullivan's. Interesting. I know a lot of people are going to take exception to that. The Riverfield 365. Some other people take exception with that too. Scoob's Village Grill. I got a story that involves Buffalo Wing Coalition, those son of a bitches with Scoob's. Bella Pizza, Wise Guys Pizza, Wellington Pub, Prohibition, KO Bar and Grill, that's on Delaware. Bases Loaded, Rodney's, Buffalo Irish Center, Wayland Brewery, Sawyer Creek, Kettles, Ebenezer Ale House, Jack Rabbits, The Ridge, and Anchor Bar. I kind of feel like there's a lot to unpack here with this one. Where should we start? What?
Start from the top, right? Obviously, Doc Sullivan's is a fan favorite to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I like them. I think I'd have them around tier 3, tier 4. In ours, not considering yours, right? So I think I'd move them up a little bit, but I mean, to each their own. But probably around the same 40 mark for me, to be honest.
Okay. And again, I like the fact I don't want to have a conversation with somebody who's going to just sit here and say, oh, you're 100% right, 100% right, and there's no disagreements or anything like that. I'll defend it. I'll defend my take because I know there's a lot of people out there. You said it. Doc Sullivan is one of the more popular places in all Buffalo to hang out at and for wings. I think their wings are average. I'm just going to say it. I don't think they're bad. I think their wings are average. I think they have an incredible menu. Yep. It's one of, again, it's the heart of South Buffalo, like literally. Doc Sullivan's Imperial Pizza, if you're going out, those are the spots in South Buffalo. That's the heart of South Buffalo. Lots of good times to be had there. Lots of good food. They're one of the few bars actually in Buffalo that has my favorite beer on tap, which, by the way, is Sam Adams Cherry Wheat. They had that shit on tap. Freaking bomb. Anyway, I just think their wings are okay. Now, and some people, again, they're still ranked higher. 46, by the way, when you get there, because they're at the top of this, that's still mid. It's middle of the pack. You know what I mean? It's upper middle here at this point. So I'm not saying they're bad. I just think that they're okay. So I know that's going to be controversial with some people. The Riverfield 365, a newish kind of spot. I remember talking to the person who serves. And you know how a little while ago we just talked about you set your own standard. Like the more you talk up your shit, the higher the bar is going to be for me. Well, I remember going there with my wife and, getting recommendations. And they said, get these wings. I can't remember what they're called now, but they said it's a combination 9/11 sauce and Wing Nuts wings.
Yep. Those are the ones I tried too, and they were not good the first time, but the second time they were better. The sauce was different. So consistency there. So, I mean, that drops you down, right? So.
Yeah. Well, I only had them once there, and I did not like it. Mm-hmm. Those wings specifically, they weren't tender. Just put it that way. They were hard. It was like they tried too hard to make them too crispy. And look, it's a really nice spot, and I owe them to go back. But I also, again, owe it to everybody to be honest with my personal opinions. Feel free completely to disagree. Scoob's Village and Grill is a funny story and a lesson to pay attention to detail. So I actually read a review from Buffalo Wing Coalition on this place. And what were those hot wings called again? Scooby Lovin' wings. And they're hot. And you guys warned, be careful. They're hot. And I was like, whatever, dude. I can handle this shit. So I go there. We get wings. I got Jesse's everything, and I got the Scooby Lovin'. And I made the mistake, like we talked about earlier, of eating those first. And I also made the mistake of not reading the menu. Just said hot. I'm like, whatever. BWC said hot. I can handle it. Well, those son of a bitches came out, and I thought I was going to literally cry before I couldn't finish 2 wings. I've never had an order of wings before that I didn't eat, that I didn't have 2 wings. I've had wings that were so bad I couldn't eat 2 of them. I've never had wings that were so hot that I couldn't eat 2 of them. I physically could not eat that second wing. That's how hot it was. I was literally ready to cry. My mouth was falling apart, which sucks because those Jesse everything, as my mouth slowly recovered, I really started to enjoy those. Those were good wings. But those suckers were hot.
Yeah.
Like,
the expert in me always has the regular flavors first, and then if you read the menu properly, the super hot ones after, right? So, and I also love the pain. So I'll eat 2 of those, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm done. I'll wash my hands, stop crying, and then I'll go back for another one because I'm a big hot guy.
I would say too, that a riser on this list for me is actually kettles. A year ago, I had kettles on the bottom.
Okay.
And I've had them recently, and I actually thought they were much, much better. And my wife, who's, I put a lot of stock in what my wife says. We disagree a lot, but I still value, what she says. And kettles was much, much better. And then I feel like they're on their way up. And then the other one here, that's kind of a little sleeper one, because it's out like in Hamburg, like off like, what is it, Route 5 or something like that, the Rodney's or something like that. I was there about 6-7 months ago, and I was like, these are pretty good, man. So they definitely have some potential to move up. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. Take a real quick break, come back, and then we'll get through the second half of these. Tommy Seifert, Buffalo Wing Coalition with me, and we are counting down the best and the worst wings in Buffalo for 2025. All right, we are back here going over my 2025 chicken wings tiers and power rankings. We got through the depth chart area, so we're going to get to number 4 right now, and number 4 is our number 4 is our solid starters, 26 through 45. Again, I'll read them for people listening, and then we'll go back and discuss these. These are solid starters. Again, you're not worried about making the team. You're not even on the bottom of the depth chart. You're a starter, and you're a solid starter. These might not be, quote unquote, my favorites, but at this point, there's no wing on this list that I don't like. You know what I mean? There's no list on this point that if Tommy asked me, hey man, you want to go to X and X bar and go get some wings, I'm not going to be like, nah, I don't like that place. So I think at this point, I'm good with all these. Tier 4 solid starters: Duff's, G. McCarthy's, Vinny's, Wales Center, Mooney's on Military Road, Cole's, Good Bar, Bruner's Tavern, Bada Bing, just had those last week actually, Sal's Lounge, Gabriel's Gate, O'Neill Stadium Inn, Snyder Bar and Grill, The Big Tree, Sportsman's Tavern, Blackthorn Pub, More Room, Strikers, Rusty Buffalo, and Jokers. A pretty long list, 18, in total here. Initial thoughts here.
I would agree with all these except one.
Which one is that?
Personally, it would be Gabriel's Gate for me.
Okay. Let's dive in, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll not a deep dive, but let's discuss this more, because to me, there's 4 or 5 spots in Western New York that are polarizing because people have such varying strong opinions that are, that are different. And this is definitely one of them. So,
yeah. I mean, their location, if you're downtown, right? Everybody always wants to go here because there's really not a ton of places around that you could sit down and get wings that people say are amazing around that area. But personally, for me, I've been there 4 or 5 times, and 3 of the last 4 have been way under par. So for me personally, the rest of these look amazing, but Gabriel's Gate is off of my personal list. I'm
going to say this again. I mean, you guys do this way more often than me. You guys are a team. Quite frankly, you do a way better job. You're much more detail-oriented, all that stuff. I have wings and I have hot takes. Hot wings and hot takes. You guys aren't really hot takes machines. You guys are a comprehensive review and, public servant kind of organization at this point. I'm just going to say what I want to say because I don't really give a shit for the most part. Gabriel's Gate, to me, possibly the most overrated wing in Western New York for me personally, and that's just my own personal opinion. I don't dislike the place. I won't, again, it's a solid starter. I will eat them, but again, when you have, not even necessarily them, but when so many people say this is a top 3 spot in Buffalo,
yes,
the bar gets raised, the standards get raised. It's kind of like, if you are the New York Jets or the Miami Dolphins right now, if you make the playoffs this year, it's a great season.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Buffalo Bills and you just make the playoffs and you get bounced in the first round, it's not a great season.
Yes.
Gabriel's Gate, I'm going to start using football analogies a lot here. Football analogy here is Gabriel's Gate is a regular season dynamo, underperforms in the playoffs when they go against the better competition and, they get bounced early, at least in my book anyway.
Yeah, great place, great bar, great location, right? But I think people ruined it because they hyped it up too much, like you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be my top 10 recommendation for anybody from out of town personally. So.
I agree. And again, there's somewhere between 26 and 45 here on my list. And it's not my intention to make this a Gabriel's Gate bashing. I said at the beginning, I'm not here to really try to bury anybody. If you're in town, you want to try the wings, you want to see what they're all about because people want to hype them up, go ahead. Just me personally, I just find them a little bit, like you said, under par considering what the expectation for them are. I would also say something too about a lot of these places and maybe even the next tier as well, tiers 3 and tier 4, which we're on again. We're on tier 4 here. I would say that a lot of these places on any given day, you could have a wing that's almost as good as anywhere in Buffalo, anywhere.
I agree.
The problem with these places is the inconsistency. There's a couple spots on here where I've had some incredible wings and then I'll go back 2 months later and they're a shell of what they were before. Again, they're good wings. They just could be more. That's how I feel about these. Like the lower tiers, the expectations shouldn't be there. Like if we're talking again, if we're talking SE Lounge, you're going there to drink, man. You're going there to have a good time. You're going to Connor's restaurant to get a fish fry. You're going to White Chicks to get a fish fry and some beers with your people. You're not going there to devour world-class wings. These have the ability to be world-class wings on any given day. They're just not consistent. You know what I'm saying? Mooney's is another one too. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had Mooney's before on Military Road.
I have nenever had that one.
All right, well, they're really, really, really good most of the time. But again, every now and then I'll get some wings and I'm like, where's the wings that I had last time? And that's not an insult because I have them near top of this level. So again, you're in the top 26 to 30 out of 100. You're in the top third of all the wing spots here.
Yeah, I mean, these are all still amazing. You go anywhere 100 miles outside of Buffalo, and these would be the number one spot.
Yeah, and because we got right in the Gabriel's Gate, because we both have pretty strong feelings about that, I also got to say, we can't just gloss over and say Duff's and then be done with Duff's, because Duff's is probably the most, if Gabriel's Gate is one of the most polarizing places, Duff's may be the most polarizing place. I got some issue with Duff's, and I'm not afraid to say it.
In our group, there's 3 Duff lovers, and I think I am the sole Duff hater out of the 4.
Yeah.
The 4 of us. And I will die on that hill because you could have great wings there, but they're also a tourist trap where the wings are so inconsistent, and so is the saucing, that sometimes they're drowning in sauce, and the sauces are different, and like nothing about it is consistent to me.
I do agree with you there. Having a crew when you're doing this, like I'm doing this, you and I are discussing my results today, but I'm the one who's been, all year long. I put the list together, I update it. When you're working collaboratively as a team, is it fun sometimes to disagree? Like, we'll just use Duff's as an example because that's what we're talking about right now. But like, this guy thinks that these are the shit. You think, or someone else thinks these are just shit. They're not the shit. They're just shit. They're not good. You know what I mean? Is it fun sometimes do you guys have some animated discussions about when you don't disagree or when you do disagree?
All the time. And then we, not just on places, right? We go to places and we get like 5 or 6 flavors. That's the good thing about having a group as well, right? We disagree on the best flavors at a place too, right? Like some of us love that. But yeah, we have arguments probably daily, I would say. Especially I try to bring up some of these more often than others.
Yeah. I'll tell you one last point, too, with this tier before we move on. Vinny's is another one. It's got potential to move up there a little bit, man. I've enjoyed their wings. Well, I've always enjoyed them, but it usually is because I enjoy them because I'm hammered. Like, I go there and I drink 3 beers for $6. I get
And
freaking
10 wings for like $12.
yeah, hammering out of my skull. Then you
unbelievable.
get some cheap ass wings. You're so drunk, you're like, oh, this is the best wing ever. But they're not. But what I'm trying to say is, I've actually had some wings recently where I'm not hammered and they've been enjoyable. I still think they're breaded. I don't know if some places deny that they're breading them, some don't. I don't know. Whatever they're doing, it's rare because I generally don't like that style of wing. But at Vinny's, and actually, you know what? Now I think about it, I actually think they might have two styles of wings now. They might have breaded and non-breaded at this point. I think they do. But anyway, dude, come on, man. 3 for $6, morning, day, and night, 7 days a week, and you could go get some good food. And this was
right at the door of the kitchen. It's
wild.
Place and time for sure. It's
awesome. Man. I'll tell you right now, if this was a bar rankings and tiers instead of they would probably be on my Mount Rushmore. I'm a big Vinny's guy. All right, so that'll wrap it up here for tier 4. Now we're gonna get to tier 3. And once we get to tier 3 here, these are all pro wings, man. These to me, 11 to 25. Now we're getting in the territory where I will say, hey, Tommy, I want to go here because I want to go get wings. You know what I mean? The other places are complimentary. Wings go really good with beer, or whatever you want to have. But these spots, man, I'm like, yo, we can go there and just mess around with some wings. I really don't care what else we want to eat or drink because I'm down with this. Let me read off the list, and then we'll go through these. Wing Nuts, Bruno's, which I discovered purely because of Buffalo Wing Coalition. More on that in a second. Climax Tavern, Sport City Pizza Pub, Mimosas, who apparently my wife wasn't a huge fan of when we were eating dinner before this show. Judy's Lounge and Grill, all the way in Lockport. Transit Music Lounge, More Pat, Casey's Black Rock, Lenova, Macy's Place Tavern, Mulberry, Potter's Field, Amherst Ale House, and last but not least on this list, Imperial Pizza. Oh God, it's like, man, all these lists at this point have a lot to unpack. Let's start with, you are, again, for you, most pizzerias are just, pizza wing joints or whatever, but yet I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 Imperial, Macy's, and Sports City that are, just as much pizza as they are anything else. I got 3 on this list, man.
And Imperial,
Yep. So, well, let's start with Imperial. I'll tell you this, and we actually had a conversation about this. First of all, you're an all-pro. You're 11 to 25. You are upper tier wings. Now you're in the top 25% of my entire list. So every single place on this list at this point, I'm all about. When it comes to Imperial, they actually could even be a little bit higher. What stops that for me is I think their specialty signature flavor wings are probably top 10, maybe top 15 at worst in all of Buffalo. Honey mustard barbecue, outstanding. Their Jamaican jerk, man, those are so good. Their Sully are really, really good. I don't know if you've ever had those, but they're really, really hot.
I have had those.
You probably would like them. They're too damn hot for me. But they also have Merce, which is, by the way, that's not unique. That's kind of a thing that's going around South Buffalo. Every bar seems to have them. But however, they just seem to make them differently and better. So you go to all those flavorful signature kind of wings, I'm like, oh my God, this place can even be higher. My only issue, it's not even a big one, is their normal wings. The hot and the medium are just, they're okay. They're fine. They're not bad.
They got the pizzeria wing for those sauces.
Those are pizzeria wings. The signature wings are dinner wings. Like those are, you're right. I guess a pizzeria wing to you is just something you get like at a party, right?
Yeah, like
pizza
Frank's,
wings.
it's bland, just like Frank's. No love in the sauce at all, right?
Sure. And to me, a dinner wing is somewhere where you go specifically because I want wings for dinner.
Yeah.
Their signature sauce wings are dinner wings. I think they're amongst the very best. But anyway, so we got Imperial up on this list. We've talked about Macy's Place. I remember talking about them last year. There was a time where they were in my top 5. And they're still in my top 25. They're still really good. However, sometimes when you get really big and you grow and your customer base grows a lot and you get your talent gets a little bit, thinned out, the quality suffers a little bit. They've fallen to me now in this point of I could go there one time and be like, these wings are as good as Barville. And then the next time I go there, I'd be like, these are very average wings. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with Macy's right now. But I'll still keep going there because I do love that spot. Casey's Black Rock, to me, is a big sleeper. Lenova's, huge barbecue wing fan, man.
Yeah,
so
they do it well.
You like those a lot.
They do them well.
Have you been to Sports City Pizza Pub?
Yeah, we've been there a couple times. So
Yeah,
I went for March Madness as well, like 5 times. So.
Isn't that's an impressive bar to me, man?
For their location, they're doing it right for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's first of all, I like their wings a lot. I think I had some Louisiana Cajun or something like that I've had there most recently. They were really good. That's become one of my favorite places to go watch sports.
Yes.
They got a bunch of TVs. It's a really nice looking, kind of sleek sports bar. And you're right, you wouldn't expect that because it's like on the west side, like borderline lower west side. But yeah, a really sleek bar, pretty good pizza, man. Really good wings. That's a solid spot. That's one of those places I feel like more people need to know more about. Transit Music Lounge, people just think of music when you go there. I don't know if you've had their wings, but
I do love their wings.
Yeah, for sure. 2 more and I want it. Climax Tavern, that might be one of the big sleeper spots in all Buffalo. It's almost like you almost have to live in North Tonawanda, and it's like an ancient Chinese secret, but if you know about it, you know, because those wings are the bomb, and they're cheap as hell, too. Bruno's, again, I learned about them through you guys on Wing Night. I was looking, my wife and I, for a special to go on, and stumbled upon that on your website. And I went there, and we had hot wings, then we had medium Cajun, and they were really strong wings. And then we went back there a second time, and the consistency factor was there for me.
Yeah. When I went there, the owner, what did he say? He said, we're not a wing place, but we do them right. That's exactly what he said to me. And he was spot on.
That's a good point. You know, It's funny. That actually, now that you say that, that does make a hell of a lot of sense there, because when I went there, people were eating pasta.
Yes.
A lot of spaghetti going around that place. And we're supposed to be getting wings there. My expectations weren't that great because I didn't read your review. I just read that it was on your specials, your wing specials. It was $1 wings or something like that, which nowadays, if you can get wings for $1, that's a pretty damn good special. Last one on here that I want to hit on specifically, actually 2. You and I talked about this earlier. I'm going to give some shine to Potter's Field. I think Potter's Field is one of the more underrated places I've had. I mean, this is a wing show, so but we're talking about other foods from other places. Their whole arsenal of food is really good. I think their wings are really good. Their beef on weck was really good. Their fingers are good. I've had a good burger from there, good fries. I love everything about that place, except it's about 1,800 square feet too small. It's a popular place, man. People love to go rock out there, but it's just too damn freaking packed in there. Can't really get down there for that reason alone. You know, that stretch, by the way, between Docks and Potter's Field and Imperial Pizza,
at the Irish Center.
Sunny Reds, Irish Center. There's just so many.
That Abbott stretch is really good.
Really good spots to go hang out at, and also to go get some really good food. Anyway, some love to Potter's Field. And then I wanted to say for last tier, for this tier, Wing Nuts. You know, Wing Nuts in a lot of people's minds, it's number 1. If it's not number 1, it's in the top 3 for sure. Josh Allen, who I think his food takes suck, and I've been very vocal about that before, especially with his pizza takes, but Josh has them as the best. Barstool Sports, lots of people. They are a very, very popular place.
Very
and
mainstream.
Again,
very mainstream place.
They've become very mainstream.
Yes.
They didn't start out that way.
That's why their new location near the airport's like perfect for them, right?
Sure. So. And look, they're number 1 on my all-pro list. So again, they're number 11 on a 97. I ain't hating on them.
I have them just outside my top 10 too. So
yeah.
like 11 to 15 area. I'm right with you.
We're in lockstep when it comes to that then. I think their sauce is about as good as anybody.
Absolutely.
Really tasty sauce, man. The Cajun. They're also one of the few places in Western New York that you can actually go get a mild wing and have some taste to it, which is very, very rare. They're huge, the wings.
Yes.
There's plenty to like about the place, and so I don't want to be hated on them. Again, they're on my all-pro tier right now.
Just a different category.
I don't love the chicken itself. I don't love the chicken itself, man. Everything else I do love. Well, I don't love the price either.
Yeah.
10 wings and a pint of beer for $30. You
got to go on Wednesday, $1 wings inside. So
I'm telling you guys, go to BuffaloWingCoalition.com. If you're sitting there and you're getting hungry because you watch or listen to the show and you want to know, depending on what day of the week you watch us, go there, hit up that date. You're right. $1 wings Great time to try it. Oh, we'll talk in a minute about wing specials because we hit on that a little bit before this show. But anyway, Wingnuts, I root for them. They are the legitimate Ed and Lisa, right?
Ed and Alicia.
Alicia, my bad. Ed and Alicia. They are the legitimate, true, real life, all-American dream story. I remember rocking with them, going all the way back to Knights of Columbus. Nobody even heard of them. It was almost like a secret society kind of deal. You would show up at Knights of Columbus. There wasn't even like individual tables. There was just big-ass cafeteria-style tables. You'd be literally sitting with strangers to eat. And once the wings were done, they were done. No more wings. They had a certain amount. They sold out. Come back next time. And it wasn't even every day, too. It was like a couple days a week when
like
they
Tuesday,
did it.
Thursday or something.
Right. But then they blew up. Then word got out, word of mouth. Again, classic American dream style. And they have built what they have now. So I will always respect and give them a ton of credit for that. They have earned what they had. It didn't come overnight. You said it before, Ed, when we were talking. Ed's a grinder.
Yeah, they were grinding. And then the Barstool guys found them, and then they blew up.
They blew up. Yeah, and they deserve it. I'm very, very happy for them. And again, they're not bad wings. They're good wings. I just can't say that they're a top 5 wing spot for me.
They're a little niche category for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
They're phenomenal.
All right, so now we're at the second last level here, which to me is the elite. This is 5 through 10. This is, man, where it's getting so damn hard to not have. I feel like once you get to the top 10, where are you going wrong, dude? Where are you going wrong here? There's no wrong turn. Let me read out. So this is tier 2, the elite, 5 through 10. Kelly Corner. Actually, I'm going to count down the other way because I want this to go 10 through 5 because I got a reason for that. So 10 through 5. The Bar at Main and Hamlin, the Autobahn North, 40 Thieves, Beltline Brewery, Elmo's, and Kelly's Corner. You've been have you been to all these?
I have not been to Main and Hamlin yet, which I regret. But there's so many places that we're trying to get to. It's hard to keep up, to be honest with you.
It's impossible.
But that's the other 5 I've been to. Though,
okay, now with the Bar in Main and Hamlin, we'll kind of run through these quickly. They got one thing going against them. Their wings are incredible.
Just right across the street.
You look outside. Why you not going to Bar Bill when if you're going, unless you live in East Aurora and it's no big deal for you to go there. But if you're traveling 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes, you're going to East Aurora, how are you not going to Bar Bill? You know what I mean? That's the only thing they got going against them. I remember some of the Bar Bill staff left to go when Bar at Main and Hamlin opened. I enjoyed all their wings.
Actually, the old staff opened it. So
yeah, that's right. They did.
Yep.
Great wings, man. I can't emphasize that enough. Autobahn North is one that I feel like I have significantly higher than almost everybody else that I've seen. I've been there a handful of times, and I'll tell you, the people that I've had food there with will testify, and they do agree. I remember I did a show there with Tim Graham once. I did a show there with Matt Perino once, and the wings were awesome, and they were also cooked on the grill right in front of you too at the bar. I don't know why more people don't have them higher than they do. So this is one of those, where sometimes I might have something too low. This might be one where some people, I think I have it too high. But I'm a big Autobahn North guy for sure. 40 Thieves, one of those places that I think is getting a lot of hype. It's like the New Day, Gabriel's Gate. However, they live up to their hype, in my opinion anyway. Like, they get a lot of hype, but they deserve it because I think those wings are really, really solid.
They are really good, and they do social media very well. So
do they?
I
don't pay any attention to it.
They're good at social media. They actually won our Best Wing in Buffalo contest last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, their social media is phenomenal. That's pretty much a big fan vote, right? Our Instagram polls. So, they won it 2 years ago.
I should probably start paying more attention to social media. I do remember Macy's Place Pizzeria made its name based more so on pizza than wings, but they made their name based on having some really creative and crafty IG posts with their pizza, some food porn.
Yes, pretty much that's what it is.
They were phenomenal at that.
Their outfits are pretty much food porn as well. So,
number 7, again, at this point, this is my top 10. We're saying the elite, but I'm counting these down. Number 7 for me is Beltline Brewery. far and away, and I mean far and away, of the breweries that I've had wings at, these are the best. And I love the fact that my favorite wing there is the most basic way. It's the 716. It's just a regular traditional wing, but it's not Frank's. It is really, really good. And then they have everything. I think it's everything. All dressed. All dressed.
Yeah.
All dressed wings, man. Those are really good. But like, if I went with you, I'd be like, can we split those? Because 10 might be too much. Like 5 of those I could take for sure.
5 and 5. Perfect.
Yeah. Like that's one of those where I'd really like to split it up. But man, you know what's funny? They're a brewery. I don't think their beer's all that awesome. It's good. I'm not gonna hate on their beer, but I've had better brewery beer. But I would rather go the Beltline before any other brewery because I want to eat wings.
Yes.
And by the way, their fries too. Mwah, they are beautiful. So Beltline Brewery, I got it number 7. All right, here we go. This is the next two, actually. Number 6, I got Elmo's. And I'll say this. Elmo's is the only wing that I've ever had at number 1 on this list, besides who's going to be number 1. Spoiler alert for a few minutes from now. And we talked about this too previously, I still say their Cajun double dip or their Cajun honey mustard double dip, their signature wings are the best. To me, they're the best. I will take their signature wings before Bar Bill's. And I know that a lot of people wouldn't agree with that, but I would. However, why don't I have them at number 1 anymore? Or why don't I have them on my Mount Rushmore anymore? The answer to me, and I've been doing a lot of thinking on this over the last year, and I want to talk about this with you for a second too. I just think that their hot wings are okay. They're good. They're maybe more than good, but they're not, oh my God, let's just go there and get some hot wings or let's get some medium wings. We don't need to mess around with the pit. We don't need to mess around with any of those flavors. I can't have you at number 1, or I can't have you in my Mount Rushmore if your traditional regular chicken wing is not amongst the best. And I don't think it is amongst the best. Their signature flavors are maybe the best, but their regular wings to me, they're not the best. Is that kind of something? Let me ask you this. When you guys with Buffalo Wing Coalition, when you're reviewing wings, because you have Pyramid, which is very similar to what we're doing here today. How do you weigh in where you want to put things? Like for an example, like say Elmo's, and I'm just using them as an example. We don't have to be specific to them. But does that make sense to you in terms of, you know what? They're tradition. How much does a traditional wing matter to you as opposed to, you know, in your scoring system, in your mind, even though it's not a science, there's no scientific scoring system.
Yeah, you got to have a baseline, right? And for us, we always start with the hot. So the traditional hot is our baseline personally for our group. Mm-hmm. And then obviously everything else goes into it. Every other flavor, right? You usually get like 5-6 flavors every time we try somewhere. But if your hot isn't good, you're never going to make it to like the top elite or even tier 2. It's just how we rate ours personally, right? And I would agree with you. Elmo's does not have the best traditional hot. And I agree with you. The flavors are great, but sometimes they're also inconsistent. Yeah. That's fair. And one thing I do like about for you guys, that I think that's advantageous for you guys, is being able to, when you go out as a group, you go out with 3 or 4 people, sometimes even more, is you can get more wings. Yes. You know, I ain't rich, so, exactly. And I can only eat a limited amount of wings. So for an example, just sticking with Elmo's here, I'm not going to go get 40 wings by myself and try their baseline hot and plus 3 other flavors. Yeah. So I've been to the point now, and I've had Elmo's enough that I'm not going to even bother with their hot wings anymore. Anyway, they're still in my top 7. Yeah, I mean, they're still great.
They're still incredible to me. The difference is, like I said, is they're not good enough in terms of being traditional. You know who is good enough in terms of being traditional? And I know this is one that you would have on your list personally for the Mount Rushmore. But this is why I said I want to cheat. Because there is nothing, there's not a bone in my body, there's not a cell in my brain right now that feels remotely good about having Kelly's Corner in the elite. Which for anyone else, you're in the elite, man. This is the elite, like the elite. Yep. However, they are worthy of being in the Mount Rushmore. And you're right. I should have changed the rules. I should have made an exception for this, and I didn't. And it's too late now.
This is my number one hot sauce in Buffalo, Kelly's Corner. I could put a straw in it and literally drink it. Just give me the wings hot and a side of hot with a straw, and I am good.
Have you ever had like hot sauce, like, and you pour it into a spoon and just I've done that before.
I get a large side of hot every time I go there. I don't even dip the wings in it. I dip the fries in it, and it's gone. And it's like a large, like 8-ounce cup, and I eat all of it.
Kelly's Corner. All right, let me say this: 3, 4, and 5 on my list could have flipped a coin.
Yep.
Because they're all deserving, and that's nothing against 3 or 4. They're on the Mount Rushmore for a reason. But Kelly's Corner feels like a snub, which is hard to say because, again, they are still 5 and they're still at the dead smack top of my elite list right now. And but I can't go back and change it. Yep. I can't go back and change it. I'll tell you this. If we were evaluating wings and beef on weck and chicken fingers, all 3 of them, and you package them, this is number 1.
It's over.
It's number 1. This would be number 1. So as much as we both love Kelly's Corner, I don't even got to go to Kelly's Corner and get wings. I could go there and get beef on weck, or I could go there next time and get chicken fingers.
You get a half a beef on weck.
Yeah, that's all you need is a half a beef on weck at that freaking place. That's so awesome. But anyway, yeah, they're there at my 5. And now I'm going to get to the Mount Rushmore. I'm going to throw it up there, run them down, and then we'll discuss these because these are the best of the best. This is the literal Mount Rushmore for 2025 wing tiers and power rankings. 4, Sunny Reds. 3, Adolph's First Ward Tavern. 2, Barbill. Number 1, if you know me, you would know this, 911 Tavern. Let's start with number 4 here, Sunny Reds. This place is really... I say Wingnuts kind of as a Cinderella story of the All-American dream. To me, Sunny Reds has kind of become it doesn't sound like it now because they're so popular now, but a Cinderella story because, man, it was not too long ago, Tommy, and you could testify to this, where nobody knew about this place. This used to be one of those, you want to say, keep Buffalo a secret. Like, I used to keep Sunny Reds a secret. Nobody knew about this place unless you lived in Lackawanna.
Yep.
That'd be it, or near Lackawanna.
Even like
or
a
you used to
year
go
ago.
or if you used to go to drink at Woody's when it was Woody's or the press box or whatever. But yeah, as recently as a year or 2 ago, this place was just a sleeper spot. Now everybody knows about it, and for good reason, man. Their wings are incredible. They're incredible, man. And I know they got other flavors, but I don't even need those flavors, man. Just the regular, traditional, medium, or hot wing just is right there with the best, man. And God, they're just so good. I seriously, I love going to that place. I live close to there. If I didn't, I would take a ride.
Absolutely.
Like, these are destination places at this point. And so are a couple in the elite, too, where I will take a half-hour ride. Sunny Reds is one of them. I know this is a wing countdown, but again, we're talking about this with some other places too. The brick oven pizza is incredible. They got new chicken tenders and a special too that you can get on Thursday nights. Stack burgers. They got a lot of good food there.
Brand new outdoor patio.
Yeah,
it's a lot going on there.
Listen, so when we do wing, analysis or whatever have you, does stuff like that matter to you? Because it does to me. Customer service matters. Like, I want to not just have good wings. I want to have a good experience when I go there. Like, who the person is that's serving or the bartender, that shit matters.
Absolutely.
How much room you got. What's the ambiance like? Is there the game on that you want? Are you looking to watch? Are you able to watch that? And like you said, now, a patio they got outside there. DJ Jixter from 97 Rock does karaoke there every other week. Again, I was bitching about Potter's Field. I'm going to bitch about Sunny Reds now. I can't walk in the damn place on a Saturday night because it's so packed.
Yes, it is.
But anyway, yeah, dude, their wings are legitimately, they're on the Mount Rushmore. I mean, what the hell more do I need to say? They're on the Mount Rushmore.
Phenomenal. I would say service. Obviously, we never went back to the wing special day, right? If you're going somewhere to try the wings for the first time, don't go on a wing special day, especially to these places. You're not going to get the best service. It's going to take a while. They're not going to put the effort in. You got to go to Sunny Reds on a non-Wednesday and have the place, not to yourself, but it'll feel like it.
You know what? That might be the most insightful thing that either of us have said this entire episode. Don't go, folks. Listen, if you want to go to a spot because you want to try something and it's cheaper, that's perfectly cool. But if you're going to evaluate, if you want to make your own chicken wing power rankings like we do or whoever does, don't do it on wing night. You're right. You go to Sunny Reds on a Wednesday, dude, you can't. First of all, you'd be lucky to get a parking spot around there. And if you do, you go in there, they're mass producing. And they're not the only ones. I mean, there's a lot. Wing Nuts on Wednesdays. They got dollar wings. There's so many more and more better known big places are starting to have wing specials. And no matter where you go, you're mass producing. You know what I mean? There's no attention to detail on them. So go there and enjoy them. I sure as shit will. 50-cent wigs, man. I don't want you kidding me, man. So I will go and enjoy them.
Absolutely.
I also have the benefit of knowing what their wings are like. So I ain't got to worry about all these wings that taste a little bit different on wing night than they do on Sunday or Saturday night. I know that. But I've already been there enough times that I know that shit. So, yeah, man, if you're looking to save some money, go to Buffalo Wing Coalition, find out where to go. But if you're going to evaluate and the quality of a wing, that's not the best time to do it. Anyway, all right, number 3, maybe a little bit, I don't say controversial because I don't think you guys have them quite this high, but I got Adolph's. Adolph's First Ward Tavern, dude, they are straight up, again, no gimmicks. And one thing I love when I said ambiance and stuff, vibes, this is as shithole Buffalo divey of a bar as you're going to get in Buffalo.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the bathroom's smaller than this studio that you and I are recording.
I take a picture of it every time and say, what is this for ants?
Yeah, but listen, man, their medium and their hot are the bomb.
They're hot, they're incredible.
I love that place.
They're hot and hot garlic parm are absolutely unbelievable.
Yes, we went, so I did, Eric Wood was in town, God, I can't remember, it was sometime over the past year, and we had a tour bus. We went to about 7 or 8 spots, and this place, far and away, it wasn't just me. I already knew what Adolph's was all about at this point, but some of his boys from Kentucky were there with him, and of all the spots we went to, that was the spot. Like, Adolph's was the spot that after that, I was like, we don't even need to eat any more wings after that. That's how good they were. So, yeah, Adolph's First Ward Tavern to me, number 3. Number 2 is Barbell. You know, unlike other spots that we've talked about during this show that we consider somewhat to completely overrated, Barbell is the new Anchor Bar, the new Duff's in today's modern world where everybody talks about it. If you come into town, if you're Adam Schefter, if you're a celebrity, if you're an actress, you're coming through Buffalo, you play on another sports team, you go to Barbell. Just like people used to do that with Anchor Bar. Remember that. Anchor Bar was a spot that everybody went to. And now Barbell's that spot. But the difference is Barbell lives up to that hype. Yeah, I get annoyed, Tommy, because every time, like on social media, dude, I see people saying, well, I'm coming to Buffalo. Where should I go? And everybody always says Barbell. And sometimes I take exception to that. I'm like, come on, man. There's other spots. There's Adolph's. There's Sunny Reds. There's Kelly's Corner. Everyone always says Barbell. But there's a reason why everyone says Barbell.
They got it down to a science. They time their wings perfectly. They paint it on so it never gets soggy. You never have I've been there probably 30 times. Never had a bad wing ever. It's
one of the 2 most consistent places that I've ever had with the wings. You're 100% right. And by the way, their beef on whack too is absolutely incredible. If there's anybody in Buffalo who could beat Kelly's Corner's combo of beef on whack and wings, it would be Barbell. It's worth the wait. It's annoying sometimes. It's small. You almost, unless you get lucky, you know you're going to wait. If you're a Bills fan, you want to go jocking some of the players, you can almost guarantee that you're going to find Buffalo Bills players there.
Yep, Greg Rousseau's first wing ever in Buffalo. We invited him to sit at our table because it was an hour and a half wait. We're like, just come sit with us. We had extra room. So he sat and ate with us. Yeah, they always go there. I legitimately mean this. If it was during season, I can't tell you the last time I went to Barbell and I didn't see at least one Buffalo Bill. If it wasn't a player, it would be a coach or somebody that I would know from the administration. So anyway, they're a very solid number 2, and a lot of people I'm sure have them number 1, but I don't. And that's because I have, for the 4th time in 5 years, 9/11 Tavern. And all the principles
when you talk about what makes a bar great or a wing great, they don't really have in a lot of ways. And here, allow me to explain though. All right. There's a lot of things that people won't like about them. Number one, sometimes it can feel like a lottery ticket if you get to go there, because if you go on a Friday or Saturday, you're going to wait in line. You're going to get lucky if you're going to eat.
Yep.
They close sometimes, and if you don't follow them on social, you have no idea when they're even going to be open. That can be frustrating. It's cash only. That can be frustrating. It's very small with a limited amount of tables. That can be very frustrating.
It's not going to be small much longer.
No. I don't know. Are we going to break news on this show right now?
We could.
Spoiler alert. We'll get to that in a second. But all that stuff, who gives a shit? Because when those wings come out, there is nothing, in my opinion, at least anyway. Again, this is my personal opinion. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is better than 911 Tavern. The most consistent wing. And it's not even that it's just consistent. It is consistently incredible. Their fries are amazing too.
Yes.
And the other thing I love about them, I'll tell you, some people hate this. I love it. And I haven't sworn this whole episode, but I'm warning you now. There's a bad word about to slip out of my mouth. What I love about this place is a lot of these other places, Cajun honey, double dip, barbecue, this Murph's, all this stuff. If you go to 911, it's medium, hot, or get the fuck out of here and go somewhere else. That's 911 Tavern.
Yes. I brought 7 people that have never been there like last month, and I ordered 100 wings hot. And everybody's like, I don't like hot. I'm like, I don't care. That's what you're eating. Yeah. You're at 911, you're eating the hot wings.
They have a smaller kitchen and limited amount of space. So they don't give a shit if you wait or not. And it's not an insult. They don't give a shit because they care about quality more than anything else. They don't want to just pump food out. So they're not going to sit there and mass produce a bunch of wings. They are, again, to me personally, I just feel like they're hot wings, and that's all they have, are hot or medium. They just seem to be on another level. And the one other thing I will say, because I was criticizing half of it tongue-in-cheek about, the cash only, getting lucky to, if they're even open or to sit there. Their staff is awesome, too. Yes, and I'll say that, too. You won't find a better staff. The owner is incredible. Paige, she's awesome. The servers there, the bartender, really friendly. I can't imagine how often people come in there and get pissed because they got to wait too long. They can't believe how long of a wait it is. Or they're not going to get to eat. Yes. You know what I mean? How much shit they probably have to handle because people...
They literally have a rule book that they publish on social media that you can read. And it's like, no to-go wings. You can't buy sauce once we're out of sauce. Stuff like that. There's literally a list of rules. It's crazy. But like I said earlier, they are expanding.
Proceed, elaborate.
And hopefully Paige doesn't kill me, but it has been approved. Their plans have been approved. She told me last time I was there. Mm-hmm. And they own the building next door. Mm-hmm. So 911 Tavern is technically 9 Bloomfield Avenue and 11 Bloomfield Avenue. Mm-hmm. They own, I think, whatever 5 or 7 it is. They're busting out the wall, building a large kitchen, and combining both places. And it's going to be, you'll be able to take to go. They're going to have a large kitchen, new bathrooms. Everything. I don't know how long that's going to take, but I think they're starting soon.
They're expanding. They're not relocating. Yes. That's important to point out too.
Yeah, same spot.
Because you can add to the lure of 911 Tavern having a hard time parking anywhere. So that's not going to change again. But now the restaurant, as you're saying, is going to be even bigger and better. That's awesome. As long as the quality stays the same, because there's literally nothing better in Buffalo.
We will be there to test that out right away, I promise.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this. This is fun. And, I did realize, but I didn't realize it until after I had already had my list published, that because I mentioned the name. There's one that's not even on this list, and it's almost a crime, and that's Anchor Bar. Not even on this list.
You had Anchor Bar, I think, in tier 5.
Did I?
Yeah.
I got to go look now.
Because if I did tier 5.
All right. Well, I did have him tier 5. All right. Well, then that makes, I'll tell you what. If I would have been on the spot, I would have put him at tier 5. All right. So forget what I just said about Anchor Bar. They were here in tier 5. And like I said, dude, these are just opinions. Some people are going to agree. Some people are going to say we're stupid.
Yes.
Gabe Gate stands are going to come for us, probably.
They'll be after me.
Yeah,
sure.
so maybe some Doc Sullivan stands, which again, we didn't really insult Doc Sullivan's.
No.
We're just saying that I don't think that they're a top tier place specifically for wings. Some of these I have not been to. Some of these I go to regularly. Some of these I need to get back to.
Which is hard to do because there's hundreds of other places you haven't been to.
Yeah, there's always somewhere
new
opening.
sauces, stuff like that. Yeah.
How often do you guys get a decent amount now of, hey, man, we're open now, or you haven't been here, or, we're doing things different now. Like, we got new ownership, new management, new cook, new something.
We have a list of, I think it's 122 places that people have reached out to us to come try that either something changed, new management, or we haven't been there yet. And it's impossible because we have about 150 on our list, and then you still want to be a healthy human. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough, dude. I gave up on that shit years ago, man. But I'll tell you what, that long 911 Tavern, Barbill, Adolf, Sunny Reds, Kelly Corners, and a couple others stay open. I'm never going to be fully healthy. And I'm all right with that, man. I'm all right with that. But anyway, like I said, purely opinion. It's fun. Go make your own list. Go have your own opinion. Don't take mine too serious. But these were my thoughts. I thank Tommy again from Buffalo Wing Coalition for joining me and offering some insight. I don't think we had any significant disagreements. I don't think there was many things where you're like, well, if there was, you didn't say it.
No.
Where it's how do you have that on tier 3? That should have been tier 6 or vice versa.
Mine's pretty similar. And our top 5 are your 4 and Kelly's, right? So
yeah, I will say again, there's some places that I feel like maybe if I go back again, that I'll have a better experience because they have potential to move up. One of them I talked about, the Riverfield 365. Maybe they were just, those wings were hard that specific day. I've only been there that one time for wings. Maybe I deserve them again or try them again and they deserve better. Like I said, Kettles last year was dead last. They were on my bottom and now they moved up a good 30 spots because I went back there again and gave them another chance and I enjoyed them. Maybe Scoob's Village Grill too. Maybe I'll go there this time and I won't get the Scooby loving, and I'll only get the Jesse's everything, and then maybe I'll have a difference of opinion. Plus, like I said, there'll be plenty new ones. Always, follow me on my socials because every time I have a wing spot, I kind of give it a review and stuff like that. And of course, check out BuffaloWingCoalition.com. If you're into wings, man, it doesn't get any better than that. Thanks, brother.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, I'll be back with a brand new episode, the Pod Bag episode coming up tomorrow. Talk to you guys then.